studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
There's that music I love.
What? Where am I? What day is it?
Hey now. Hey everybody, welcome back to After 9. It is a brand new season and we are ready to go with the first podcast that we've done in over a month. Before we get to it though, holy cow, thank you very much to everybody who DM'd, who texted in. 1-833-915-SHOW is our number. Everybody who sent a message to say how important After 9 is to their daily routine.
Love that. And a lot of the time when we're off, even if we're just off for, a week or something like that, you'll send in messages and, hey, I wish you guys would be on to talk about that, or I can't wait to get your take on this, and the amount of messages that we received. But you know what? I think we love seeing it because we know that how much you guys like it and how excited you are that's a part of your routine, like Scott said. So, hey, we're back at it too. This is part of our routine regularly, so now we're back at it.
Well, people ask me sometimes, like, hey, do you do the podcast like during your show, or do you do it before, or is it just clips from your show? No, we actually do another show after our morning radio shows and before our afternoon radio shows, and that's how After 9 comes to be. You aren't kidding. There's a lot that happened while we were off.
Sure there was, yeah.
Where do we start? Where do we start? I think we left off at Doug Ford asking people to stop pooping on the beaches.
Folks, don't be pooping on the beach. Simple as that, man.
And did they? Did we? I wasn't sure. I avoided them. And can I say, it might have been because of those stories that I was like, you know what? I'm going to avoid any public thing. I actually went to a couple conservation areas and things like that where I had to pay to get in. And I was okay with that because I'm like, I don't know who's pooping where or what's happening. So I'm just going to go where I feel the most safe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what happened since then? Oh, lots of stuff, I suppose. Lots of stuff.
Well, let's start off with where we're at today, because this week in particular, there's a lot of things going on that we've been talking about for months. For example, today, kind of the first day of school. I don't love the way they're doing this now. I get that they don't want to ask teachers to come in on their off time in August to set up their classroom and get their professional development done. But if the first day is today, aren't you supposed to be ready to go? Couldn't there be a compromise here? As long as I was growing up, the first day of school was the Tuesday after Labor Day. Now, teachers come in and they set up their classrooms on the Tuesday and they do their professional development. All well and good, I suppose. I'm just wondering if there's a more efficient way, because we just had a long weekend and there's still a lot of parents who are like, what am I going to do with this kid for one more day? All the camps and everything are shut down.
That's the thing, right? It's so true. So a lot of people are taking, I know a lot of people have to take today off because their kids aren't in school, but they have to work or whatever the case is. And some boards are in and some boards aren't in terms of kids in class. I know there's a lot of teachers working today with kids in class going, wait a minute, I'd like to have that because I spent all weekend preparing. But I also know teachers who spend more than just one day. For them, one day is not enough. They were in all week last week, like every day for a little bit to try to get themselves back into the routine, which I suppose is also by their own choice. I don't know what the answer is. Could we not make school start on the Friday before the long weekend, but that's the PD day?
Ooh, I don't know how much teachers would like that. For those who don't know, teachers do have to be at school on a professional development day. It's just they're not teaching, they're being taught essentially how they're going to teach. And I mean, like I said, I'm right there with the teachers. I wouldn't want to come in on my off time either. I just wonder if there's a different way that we can do this just to try and clean it up so that the first day of school truly is the first day of school. There's some scenarios where the Catholic board is off and the public board is in, or vice versa, and it's really confusing for a lot of people. So hopefully they'll figure it out. But today is a bigger day because today is the day the cell phone ban kicks in. I don't know why, but the news for the last few days has been running nonstop interviews with people that are talking about how this just won't work, how this is a bad idea, how it's wasting people's time. And I don't understand why people get so negative before we even get to it. You know, if we got to Christmas and said, wow, teachers wasted a lot of time confiscating cell phones, then maybe we revisit it. But the doom and gloom in advance, I don't like it. And I feel like parents, generally speaking, support this ban.
I think it's great. I love the fact that I never had to worry about it. You know what I mean? In my life anyway, where I'm at with young kids that don't have cell phones, to know that when they do get that cell phone, that they won't be distracted in class. I was also in class as a child, and if the teacher needed to reach my mom if I was sick, let's say, or something, they can do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no worry. There is a way to, I don't know why. I understand always being worried about the worst case scenarios, but I don't think that should matter here. I don't think that needs to be put in play here. You know, your worst case scenarios. Like, I'm trying to figure out what people believe, why people believe this is a bad idea. And I can't understand anyone's argument.
All I can think is that it's just pure opposition to anything the government does.
Yeah,
if the government says no cell phones, you're all of a sudden a cell phone junkie who loves them.
Yeah.
If they say keep your cell phones, then you're the one screaming, no, you got to get rid of cell phones. I think it's just disagreeing for the sake of disagreeing. I don't see a negative outcome here. I think it's probably good. And if kids have not had any success getting the phone out of their hand at home, maybe not having it in their hands at school is probably going to help them change habits.
Totally. And you know what? Have that chat with your kids. If they're all like, oh, humming and hawing about it, you know, have that talk with them. And make sure that they're respectful toward the teachers. I worry that's the only thing I worry about is teachers being talked back at because they can't have their phone, or some students trying to sneak in the phone and then the teachers have to deal with it. Like, that's not fun. But in general, it wasn't fun for them every day trying to get kids to put their damn phone down so they can learn a lesson.
Yeah, it really does need to start at home. I don't want to lecture anybody, but I mean, parents, you're just as much part of the solution here. And if you want kids focused on learning, I assume you send them there to learn the reading, writing, and arithmetic. You got to get on board with this and support it. I mean, the teacher needs to know that at home, you're enforcing the same rule and the same message, no cell phone at school. It's as simple as that. There's a lot of people who have jobs where they're not allowed to use their cell phone. I don't think preparing kids for this in school is a bad idea.
Not at all.
I am a little curious about what they're doing in the Ottawa Catholic Board. They've announced that AI is now fair game. Students can now use AI officially to help develop ideas for an essay, break down complex documents, or create illustrations to spice up their presentation. They're also introducing, though, AI literacy lessons for all students to make sure students and parents understand the risks of AI. They say the move is to bolster students' overall education. They're not trying to replace the building blocks of literacy, such as reading and writing. I mean, they don't intend to, but they kind of are. I mean, if this is just one more way to get people out of writing an essay, even if ChatGPT just formats it for you properly. Did you really learn anything about creating an essay? I don't know. But either way, AI is here to stay, and we got to figure out a way to live with it, right?
I think that's what if I file it under is, look, it's here whether you like it or not. There are a lot of ways in people's day-to-day job AI is impacting it, and maybe for the better for some people. Sure, it's scary at times, and I fully understand that. There are a lot of people that are implementing AI currently that are formatting emails with it in professional settings, that are creating presentations, that are creating those PowerPoint, creative. Let's say you aren't creative. Like, have you ever used the Meta AI photo generator?
Oh, I've seen some of the ones.
Crazy.
Yeah. Very animated, though.
It's very good. Anyway, like, to me, it's like if you can add to it, like they're saying basically this is what it's for, and people are doing it in their day-to-day jobs, then why not learn? And at least you can start to talk about those safety measures that they're implementing there. And why not? I don't see anything wrong with it, as long as they're using their own creative tools to, as the foundation. You know what I mean?
I don't use AI. I'm pretty good at writing myself. However, I will say one thing I have learned is it's really only as good as the detail you put into it. So you can ask it to write you an essay on the rebellion of 1837. Okay, sure. You've still got to put in some good relevant stuff to set up the guys for your paper. So maybe this is teaching kids in a different way. I thought it was a means of cheating, and it was up until now, but now they're officially adopting it in at least one school board. The other thing that's on the go provincially here in Ontario this week, Thursday, the liquor rolls into 7-Eleven and Becker's and Mac's and Circle K. Booze in the stores. One store has already been shut down. They were selling alcohol before the official start date, which is this Thursday.
Whoopsie.
They say they're going to have more inspectors out checking IDs. I don't think a single store is going to risk their license and their ability to sell cigarettes and lottery tickets by selling to a minor. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom, and I was listening to one of the AM stations today, and they had a parent on who was worried because the convenience store was too close to a school, and we can't have schools that close to alcohol. What? Seriously, I swear to God, they thought they were making an informed point, and they sounded stupid.
So did they think that a bunch of 10th graders were going to be able to march into the convenience store and be able to grab Liquor?
I think that that's in their head what they thought. Now, nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, if they can't buy cigarettes, then they can't buy alcohol. If they can't buy alcohol, they can't buy cigarettes. It's the same thing. We've just added a new product that you can't buy unless you've reached the age of majority.
By the way, there's probably the same parents that have like their liquor cabinets fully open.
Oh,
and available.
probably.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, hang on a second. You're perfect. Did you have a talk with your kid? Would be my other question. Parents need to stop putting shit on everyone else but themselves as a parent. I'm so sick of it.
I'm right there with you. It's maddening watching the news, listening to it, and hearing people come up with these crazy arguments. I want to yell at the TV. I'm seriously in that ridiculous of a moment here that I'm ready to yell at the TV because people are saying stupid stuff like that. I don't know what's going to happen after Thursday, but I imagine the answer is nothing. People are going to carry on with their lives. It'll be available.
Yeah.
And it won't ever come out of it either.
Yeah.
It's a one and done. The rule will never change. You will, in Ontario, forever be able to buy beer in a convenience store because despite all the people that are complaining about it now, no government is going to run on a promise to take the alcohol out of convenience stores and win. People want this. I find everybody I talk to seems at least interested that this is going to happen.
It's just because you're not used to it here. Everywhere else has this. So, well, I shouldn't say everywhere. Most other places have it. Liquor in convenience stores. This isn't like it's, oh my gosh, it's only overseas. Oh, no, it's freaking, go a couple provinces over. It's there. And everything's fine.
Tomorrow, the Bank of Canada is going to make an interest rate announcement. This will be good.
Yeah, I think so. What are we hearing? Half point?
I heard
is
half
likely?
point. That's what the economists that I follow that so far have been right are all saying half point interest rate cut tomorrow. And that's important. We need it so badly. I mean, I don't know how much more money they can suck out of the middle class here, but I don't think there's much left in the bank. Like, people have got to get some relief.
I think it's good. I think it's going to be good news for those people who are struggling. When is it the next one a couple months from then? Not to get ahead of it, because I know we still have this one.
Yeah, I don't think there is an October announcement.
Probably in November, maybe.
Maybe November. If it's not too late at that point, I mean, they can cut a half point tomorrow. I'd love to see them cut a full point tomorrow.
That'd be cool.
That would be so much better. I mean, they say the only reason they did it was to get inflation under control. Inflation has been in that range that they say they need it in for well over a year now. Let's get going with cutting these rates. And inflation is not going to tick back up because interest rates go down, because that was never the case anyway. I mean, this whole thing was we created a situation and a solution for it that we didn't need to. So I'm happy that people are going to get a little bit of relief. I just worry that it might be too late. I think there's a lot of people that are real far gone, and it scares the heck out of me. Anyway, we do need this. They'll make the announcement tomorrow, and hopefully the cost of living will go down just a little bit. While we're still rolling with things that are going on. See the video yesterday of that rookie from the San Francisco 49ers that got shot?
No, I didn't actually see the video. I heard about it. I didn't watch the video.
America is out of control, Kat.
Yeah, I know.
This guy was walking out of a store. He had bags in his hand. He was alone. He is San Francisco 49ers rookie receiver Ricky Pearsall. Somebody tried to rob him. Turned out to be a 17-year-old with a gun. Guy wouldn't give up the bags. There was a struggle, and this kid shot him in the chest. Now, I don't know what goes into the training for a rookie receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, but this guy is apparently made of steel. He took a bullet in the chest, walked to the ambulance, and they released him the next day. Right now, he is on the non-football injury list, but there's every reason to believe he's going to be playing football again, maybe even this week.
What the heck?
Shot in the chest, and he walked to the ambulance. That's incredible. It's like
incredible.
the bullet bounced off his nipple. It's insane. Seriously.
Well, he's going to get a new cool nickname from it, I think, at the least, right? You have to give him a cool nickname.
A rap contract.
Or that.
By the way, speaking of football, the new season begins this week. All the work that went into your fantasy draft, that's great. You finally get to see how you did.
Good on ya.
The season opens up Thursday night with the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, that in itself should be a big story. Baltimore versus Kansas City should be a fabulous football game. Great way to start off the season. But Taylor Swift is already dominating headlines for the Kansas City Chiefs.
So Chiefs fans are, okay, so I think they're kind of split, right? I think some Chiefs fans, if you're actually a football fan, maybe you like the fact that your team has had a lot of attention because Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, right? Maybe you're okay with it and you think, okay, that's kind of cool, more people on our side. But I see for the most part people being kind of bitter and not happy about it, and they're especially not happy about what Patrick Mahomes said recently, quarterback for the team, of course, in case you don't watch football. He said that she's very into football, obviously. She watches the team, as you guys have all seen, the camera's on her. And it's now to the point where she's drawn up plays for the team. And
Actually drawing up
plays. And he admits they might use them. That's how he put it out there to reporters when they were all asking questions about the season. And of course, Taylor Swift's name gets brought up, but he's all good with it because it's merch sales. It's also attention on his wife who has her own businesses and he wants her businesses to do well too. So everybody wins on his end with this whole Taylor Swift thing. Okay. You got to keep that in mind. So he doesn't mind talking about Taylor Swift and says that she asks a lot of questions. She's very good at and very quick learner when it comes to certain things to the point where she's drawn up plays. And people don't like the fact that they might be used.
People get paid millions of dollars.
Lots.
Millions.
Yeah.
They get stolen from other teams because they're good at creating plays for football players. Now, one of the things that you should probably know if you're going to design a play about football is how to play football. And I'm not convinced Taylor does. Until you've actually been on that D-line, looking at the quarterback, watching the snap, figuring out where the ball's going to go, I don't understand how you even can create a play unless it's as simple as, okay, Patrick's going to catch the ball, and then he's going to throw it to my boyfriend, and he's going to run it in for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's a pretty
There's a lot more to a football play than that, but I get the impression that that's kind of what Taylor's coming up with.
Yeah, I don't know if it's over-exaggerated, like his comment or not, but people are taking it pretty seriously. Because, yeah, if they take their teams, there's a lot of people who take their teams seriously, if you haven't noticed, that are very into it. I think you can definitely have things in a theory about it, right? I mean, even watching, I'm not a basketball player, right? But I could look and I could be like, hey, what if this guy did that? That's one thing. Maybe that's what he means. It's just like she says a couple thoughts out loud and he's like, oh, cool, we'll think about that. I don't know how serious he's taking this.
I hope he's not taking it seriously at all.
I don't know.
What a slap in the face to the offensive coordinator.
Imagine she's watching she's down there. She's got the headset on.
Get her a headset, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, she's still in her tour, which goes all the way to the end of the year.
It's crazy, right?
It's insane.
She did leave out some dates specifically, though, where I think she wants to go and watch Travis play. And then she'll rejoin the tour.
Yeah.
Like certain off dates between tour stops, she's got lots of time and she's got enough private jets that she can fly in and out of just about any city to watch a game.
She can, and vice versa for him to watch her. He plays a couple, people that map this out already know that she plays a couple of shows nearby, even Toronto. So Toronto, there's like how many shows now? 6? How many shows are there?
I think it's 6.
It's crazy. So she's going to be in Toronto for a good amount of time, and he plays not too far from here, right around there. So they're pretty certain he's going to show up to a couple of Toronto shows as well.
It's good for her. It's good for him. It's great.
Yeah, they win, right? It's as much of a business move as it is a relationship.
It's the other, you're absolutely right. And they're both getting rich.
And they could love each
it.
other too and everything else. That could be wonderful. But I think business-wise, it's been nothing but good for them.
The Chiefs couple that I wonder about is Patrick and Brittany Mahomes. Mm-hmm. She took a lot of heat. Were you following this when we were off? She took a lot of heat because she retweeted a Donald Trump tweet or something like that. And people started going after this poor girl.
Really?
Oh, are you a Trump supporter? How dare you support Trump? Blah, blah, blah. Because Mahomes is either neutral or left. Probably not your average Trump supporter. But if his wife is a Trump supporter, I wonder what kind of dynamic that creates in the house. Because there is probably pressure on Patrick to either stay out of it or go left. We all know how Hollywood works, and they're very left. And Mahomes is just as Hollywood as he is NFL. So I'm wondering if that puts an added strain on the relationship. When a couple disagrees politically in their relationship, and then the whole world is judging how they feel about those issues.
Yeah, that's the hard part. You nailed it with the hard. When everyone else knows and is judging it. Like my husband and I don't see eye to eye on every issue. I don't know if politically we stand in these. I don't ask him. I'm not like, who are you going to vote for? But I certainly know that he doesn't agree with some things I agree with and vice versa. But to have every eye on you, and they're so judgmental in the USA about it, more so than in Canada, I believe, and a lot of other nations. They're very separated when it comes to it. So if you're not this, you're out of here. But keep in mind, there are some people that are open to being friends with someone who doesn't see the same eye to eye with them politically.
It always used to be that way.
It should be that way. We need to be open to that. We need to be okay with it.
I have so many friends that differ from me politically, and that was always fine. I'm trying to figure out where. Was it COVID, or where was the point where if you disagree, you're scum?
Yeah.
If you disagree, you're not the type of person I'd like to hang out with then. When did that happen where we got so divided that, I think personally, this is just me, I think anybody who is going to vote for Justin Trudeau in the next election is either extremely wealthy or doesn't watch the news, because those are the two people that his government appeals to. But if I meet somebody and they say, I really like Trudeau, I love the fact that he created the dental care and all that sort of stuff, so I like this guy. I don't want to see anybody vote for the guy, but I'm certainly not going to shame the person I'm talking to because they disagree with me. It's silly to me.
Yeah, and that's the world that we should live in. It sucks that it comes down to two people, by the way. That's the bullshit part about it, is I feel like if you're not one, you're the other. Why can't we be lots of things? And sure, there's room on our ballot in Canada for many more. However, a lot of people don't see it that way. It's either my way or F off, basically.
And I don't know why
it's aggressive.
It's very aggressive.
That's what it is. It's aggressive for me, and it's the aggressiveness I don't like.
Yeah. That's another thing that happened while we were off. When we left, there was the ambiguity surrounding Joe Biden. And of course, they went on, and Joe Biden is no longer the presidential nominee. Kamala Harris is the presidential nominee. And Joe Biden just got back to work yesterday after almost 3 weeks of a beach vacation. He's only got 3 months left until official retirement. And this guy took 3 weeks off in the middle of multiple crises to sit on the beach and didn't even care. There was media there filming him. Like, who's running the country? I am. It's all fine. It didn't look like he was running a country from a beach in Delaware.
I don't think he'd be able to properly run the country if he was trying to do it from the office, Scott. Have you seen him? Did you see him talk recently when he did get back?
I did.
Like,
slurring
the guy,
his words.
I'm going to say it
string
again.
A sentence together.
I said it before Kamala was going to take over on everything. He needs to stop. He needs to be on a beach. That's exactly where the guy belongs. On a beach, relax, Grandpa. Chill. I don't want you to work. You don't need to work. Spend your last days enjoying your family and enjoying the sun or whatever the hell you like.
Do you mean last days as president or last days?
Last days on Earth.
Interesting.
I see signs, and I think he's for his age, but I shouldn't have to say things like for his age, but you know what I mean? For his age, he's done a great job. That's fine. But he needs to chill. I think he's worked too hard.
Can I tell you, I've watched all this unfold, and I was intentionally quiet about it on social media because I don't want to deal with the bullshit.
No.
I don't want to go through this
drama. I never
drama.
put my fucking political shit out there, usually. Only with you guys.
Only
with our After 9 listeners.
I used to, and then I realized, I've got these people that probably aren't even people. They're probably bots, just lambasting me here because I said something that was a little right of center. And the people who don't like that just cannot handle it. And I thought, why am I putting myself through this and looking at these notifications? I don't need to do that. We got a massive audience in After 9. I'll just talk about it there. So yeah, I'm right there with you. And I've been watching this nonsense unfold for the last month, and a number of things have occurred to me about it. Number one, I know they say it's close. They say it's close. I feel like it's not close. I really don't think much has changed. I think the polls are wrong when they say Kamala Harris is like within half a point of Donald Trump in all the battleground states. I don't think it's that close. I haven't talked to anybody who's raving about how great Kamala Harris is. This was the person who a month ago was the least popular vice president in the history of America. Nobody liked the woman. And now they're talking about her like she's the greatest thing ever. She keeps talking about all these things that she's going to fix. There's nothing to fix when you get elected. You're already elected. You can fix them now. To say you've got to go in and fix everything, does that mean that Joe Biden screwed it up? Because you were his vice president. And I don't understand where they're coming from. She's also getting a little weird on the campaign trail, too. Listen to this.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
She doesn't talk like that. I don't understand why she's talking like that to certain crowds. I'll give you another example.
Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about that?
Sounds like Wanda Sykes.
Yeah. She's putting on like, some people are calling it like a black scent, where she's intentionally trying to sound more urban to urban audiences. And I don't know if that's what she's doing or not, but it sounds very, very strange.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
That she would speak like that. I don't know where they're going to go in America, but I'll tell you, they are polarized down there.
Very.
Every weekend in September, I am traveling, and I'm going to be in the States a lot. I can't wait to get down there.
Yeah.
I want to see what's really going on. Because like I said, I haven't met many people that I think are tried, tested, true, certified, right behind Kamala Harris. I'm not seeing it, but the news makes it seem like she's the most popular person ever. The other thing that happened while we were gone, and we'll probably end on this because it's going to take a few minutes to get through, there was an interesting meeting. It was the Prime Minister was up in Northern Ontario, and he met some union workers, steel workers, and he was talking to them about unions and how unions are the reason that we have fair wages and
Kind of like what Kamala was just saying here.
Oh, they're totally on the same playbook.
Right.
So Trudeau ran into someone who was not buying what he was selling. And the reason I want to play this is because I feel like it's not really getting circulated as much as I think it should, because this guy, in a very calm, non-confrontational way, told the Prime Minister exactly what he thinks of him and his policies. And the reason I want to highlight this is because I love this guy. He was calm. He wasn't rude. He wasn't disrespectful. You know, it's amazing that people get near the Prime Minister all the time. He goes out and he does events, and usually they're very controlled, but we see it on social media. People do occasionally get to ask him a question.
And take selfies with him and all the other things.
But it's either, I love you, you can't do anything wrong, or you're a scummy piece of... And they start flipping out on the guy. I haven't heard a lot of just non-confrontational stuff, but I'd like to hear more of this.
We got donuts over here if you want to thank you for your hard work.
I can bring some for my kids here.
Okay. The 25% tariffs we just brought in on Chinese steel is going to help you out.
That's going to keep my job,
Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
keep your job.
What about
the $400
what about
million
the 40% taxes I'm paying, and I don't have a doctor?
The $400 million that we invest in the card means you're going to have a job
Well,
for
I think you're only
many
here for
years
another
to come.
year. We won't see you around probably another year.
Well, that's what elections are for.
That's right.
And I look forward to everyone exercising the right to vote.
Yep.
And the basic choice, we're going to invest in you and your jobs.
I don't believe you for a second.
Dental care? Do you know anyone who got dental care?
Yeah, I pay for it myself.
Okay.
We're like 3 years
You
behind.
have a job and coverage.
Yeah,
but we
four
got
people in my
seniors.
family.
We've got
Every
seniors.
time we go for a dental visit, it's costing me about $50 in my pocket per person.
Okay.
Why? I have a good job. You're not really doing anything for us, Justin.
Well, actually, we just invested so 500,000 people who haven't been to the dentist got to go to the dentist over the past few months.
Probably like my neighbor that doesn't go to work because she's lazy.
Well,
She
you know
just
what?
doesn't go to work. She lives the same
Most
life I do.
Canadians try to stick up for each other, and that's what we're going to keep doing. Good luck and take care of your family,
Oh,
sir.
no, I'm good.
That's always been a
All right.
problem,
Have a nice
though.
Have a good day, sir. All right.
And Trudeau
That's fine.
Trudeau did
fine.
credit to Trudeau.
Yeah.
He reached out his hand to shake his hand, and the guy he has every right to not shake his hand, and he did not. He walked away. He said, "No, that's okay." I love that we can actually say things like that to the Prime Minister. I love that at least one Canadian got to look in his eyes and say to his face, "This dental care program that you're raving about doesn't apply to the vast majority of us." Another example is the school nutrition program. I would have thought that with the new school year, we would have heard a lot more about that, but we haven't. What I did learn today is that they're only funding about $2.60 per kid per day. Whereas the food programs say, no, we need like up to $6 per student per day to give them a healthy meal at school. And that's what we're promising here. Where's that money going to come from? Like the school nutrition programs, the people that run what's going on here, the government pays for it, but they run it. They're saying this is grossly underfunded. I love the idea of a school nutrition program because I do happen to know a lot of kids that are not getting the proper nutrition at home. They don't have the right tools at home or supports at home. They go to school hungry. And it's hard to learn when you've got a hungry tummy. I like that our government was going to step up and do it. I wish it was needs-based and not just anybody who wants a hot meal can go in and get one.
Yes, I agree completely.
Because there's no reason that I should be sending my kids to school or you should be sending your kids to school to get a free meal from the government, because you can certainly afford groceries. So can I.
I can't wait to hear more about that, and I hope that we do, Scott, because that was one of the ones I was very interested in. I like the concept of it, and it's so true. There's a lot of kids that come to school hungry, and for some people, they can't even understand that. Like, you pack your kid's lunch, you just don't even think about it. You pack your kid's lunch, it's filled with stuff, and sure, you get all angry because they don't eat all of it all the time, or they're picking away at it. That there's some kids who don't even get those options, who might get sent to school with one cheese string for an entire day, or if that, right? And teachers, they see it. They know, they see it. A lot of times they'll supply some things for those students. So I was glad to see it's going to be implemented. I do hope it's needs-based, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel about centering those kids out.
That's the big thing,
right? Like, what do we do? Put John, Cindy and whatever in a room together, and because you're the ones who are going to get lunch that's provided here, or show all the kids that you get lunch provided to you. That could cause issues. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I would love to know more details about it.
Would it be different though if schools order in food a decent amount?
And there's pizza days or sub days, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it's pizza day and you don't have a slice of pizza, does that mean you just did not want to order a slice of pizza, or you couldn't afford a slice of pizza? Like, how do they figure that out there for kids? I mean, are there people who see other kids without pizza and assume that they're broke or they're poor, or I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works inside the classroom. I can tell you that they do offer field trips, or another example, field trips, food. They do offer for parents who are able to buy something for another child.
Great.
And for me, that means that the teachers are able to know which kids should get it or don't need it. You know what I mean? But we don't see it inside the classroom. So, I mean, I couldn't speak to what's happening in there in the moment, but I can buy a trip for someone else. And I do. Every time my kids go on a trip, I opt in for that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's we just put out a hot buffet in the hall every day and everybody can help themselves if they're hungry. And if they're not hungry, whatever. If they got food from home, they just eat that. I'm not sure what the solution is, but I do know that if we're going to do this, if we as a country have decided nutrition is important for kids.
And it is.
It so is.
Yes.
We got to do this right.
Yeah.
Let's stop nickeling and diming here. And if it is going to cost, say, $2.78 per kid, then they need $2.78. Now, the food programs are saying between $4 and $6 per day per kid. There's not nearly enough money in the fund to cover that.
I know it's so tough. I don't know if there's a correct answer, Scott. I hear you, because we're both kind of trying to figure out how it's going to work. I know there's a lot of parents that if you said, hey, if we made you pay X amount a month, would you be okay with just a buffet for your child? A lot of parents would put their hand right in the air because they don't want to make lunches. Maybe it's snacks only, right? So maybe, yes, you please still pack those snacks, but the main lunch, and it varies, maybe you try to make it as safe as you can across the board between, pizza, chicken nuggets, subs, sandwiches, whatever it is. I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. Are we singling kids out by showing that they're the ones that are getting that lunch? I don't know. But hopefully a lot of experts, and by experts, I mean people who work in the schools, you're the experts. I hope that they get to weigh in on how that's going to work and what that should look like.
This is Canada. This is 2024. 0 children should ever go hungry.
Yep.
It's a preventable thing. And this school food program, like I said, I don't even mind spending the billions on that one. They waste a lot of our money on dumb stuff. This one I don't think is a waste. What I am worried about is how much waste is actually happening in this program, i.e. how much is it costing to administer it and how much money is actually getting to the after school or before school programs. That's a big concern for me. I also want to know, though, that we have a plan for these kids on holidays and during the summer. Because they're not just hungry September to June. They're not getting what they need at home, and we need to not ever allow a kid to go hungry in this country.
There are some programs. Nutrition for Learning is one of them that I'll throw out there. I know there's so many of them, but Nutrition for Learning is great for that. So over March break, they'll usually have a designated day. And if you need to stock up on some snacks for your child for that March break, for example, there's a designated day and time that you can go to the school or a school that's designated in that area and go and pick that up. I like that. I support them. I will always help out where I can. And I know there's a lot of people who do that keep those programs running. Hopefully there's enough of them, though. I would love to know more internally about what's happening. Is there enough? What could be done differently? What's this program going to look like? What should it look like? I hope they ask the right people.
And on that, Yeah, get the experts in.
Get the experts in.
People who know it's not politicians. How about that?
Not politicians.
They screw
don't
everything
know.
up.
And they don't know. They don't know what it's like. Well, I shouldn't say speak for all of them that don't know what it's like. Perhaps some of them do have experience, right, in their past from it. However, the majority won't. So ask who knows, which are the people in those schools.
And on that, have yourselves a great day, everybody. Welcome back into the After 9 grind. We are back daily now with more episodes every day and another one coming your way tomorrow.
Bye, friends.